The first time I saw him, my heart didn't just skip a beat. It performed a full, traitorous symphony. Dr. Alistair Finch was everything my small-town life had not prepared me for. Charming, sophisticated, with a voice that could talk a bird out of its feathers. He swept into our sleepy community like a summer storm. And I, Clara, a librarian who found excitement in the smell of old paper, was caught right in his downpour. It was a whirlwind. Fancy dinners in the city, whispered conversations about art and travel, promises that felt as solid as stone. "We're building a future, Clara," he'd say, his hand resting over mine. "A partnership." He told me about his revolutionary medical charity, Hearts United, an organization that provided life-saving cardiac surgery for children in developing countries. He showed me pictures of smiling, dark-eyed children, their small chests bearing the faint scars of healing. "This is what our love can do," he'd murmur. "Multiply." So, when he asked me to invest my inheritance, the $250,000 my frugal parents had scraped together over a lifetime, left to me after their sudden death, it didn't feel like a risk. It felt like destiny. It was our shared dream, a testament to our trust. I signed the papers in his elegant office, buoyed by his kiss and the vision of all those little hearts we would mend together. The change was subtle at first. He became busier, more distracted. Our romantic weekends were replaced by critical donor meetings. His phone was always fixed. His laptop snapped shut when I entered the room. The excuses were polished, believable. I was a librarian, not a businesswoman. What did I know of the pressures of running a multi-million-dollar charity? The truth came not with a bang, but with a misplaced text message. A photo, sent to my number by mistake. It was Alistair, shirtless, and laughing in a bed I didn't recognize, and curled against him was a stunning, younger woman. The caption read, "Can't wait for St. Bart's. My love, this charity wife gig is the best con yet." The world tilted. Charity wife. Con. The words burned into my retinas. The floor fell away, and I was left suspended in a vacuum of pure, chilling betrayal. The following days were a blur of silent, frantic investigation. The public records for Hearts United showed a legitimate, if modest, nonprofit. But Alistair had always been 2 steps ahead. It was a shell, a beautiful, hollow shell. The real money, my money, was funneled into Finch Holdings, a private, for-profit corporation. There were no hospitals, no surgeries, no grateful children. There were only luxury car payments, deeds to offshore properties, and receipts for extravagant vacations. My parents' life savings had bought his mistress a diamond bracelet and a villa in the Caribbean. The police were sympathetic, but useless. "It's a civil matter, Ms. Evans," the detective said, not unkindly. "You willingly signed the investment documents, proving criminal intent. It's a long, expensive road with a low chance of success. A long road. I was already at the end of mine. The grief was a physical weight, a stone in my gut where my heart used to be. But then the stone turned to ice, cold, hard, and sharp. If the law couldn't give me justice, then justice would have to take a different form. I wasn't going to scream or cry. I was going to become a ghost in his machine. I still had a key to his office. I knew his schedule, his habits, his arrogance. He thought he was a master, and he thought I was a fool. That was his fatal mistake. For 2 weeks, I became a shadow. I accessed his private server using the password he'd carelessly mentioned his beloved sailboat's name. I didn't delete anything. I didn't steal. I copied. I duplicated every transaction, every hidden bank statement, every incriminating email that linked the doctored photos of the children directly to the flow of my money into his accounts. I compiled a digital dossier of his entire, beautiful lie. But it wasn't enough. A paper trail could be denied, litigated, buried by slick lawyers. He needed to feel it. He needed a public, undeniable collapse. The annual Hearts United Gala was his masterpiece, a black tie event where he played the benevolent savior, surrounded by the city's elite. It was the perfect stage. I wore a black dress I could barely afford, my face a placid mask. I watched him from across the ballroom, holding court, his laugh ringing out, his hand on the lower back of the woman from the photo. My $250,000 was sparkling on her ears and dripping from her neck. My heart wasn't pounding. It was a steady, cold drumbeat of purpose. I waited for his big moment, the climax of the evening where he would take the podium to present a touching, fabricated story of a child they had saved, accompanied by a slideshow of heart-wrenching, stolen photos. The lights dimmed. Alistair's voice, smooth as silk, filled the room. "And this little girl," he said, his voice cracking with manufactured emotion, "is Anahit. Without the generosity in this room, her heart would have fallen silent." That was my cue. I tapped a single key on my phone. The giant screen behind him flickered. Anahita's smiling face was replaced by a scanned image of my check, endorsed by Alistair Finch. A gasp rippled through the crowd. He glanced back, confused. "What's this?" "A technical error." He chuckled nervously. I tapped again. The screen split. On one side, the fake photos of a smiling child. On the other, a wire transfer for $150,000 from Finch Holdings to a luxury real estate agency in St. Bart's, dated the very next day. The crowd murmured, restless. "Turn it off," Alistair hissed to a technician. I tapped a third time. The screen was now a cascade of evidence emails, discussing the Clara investment, the text message from his mistress, the deed to the villa. The room was in an uproar. Cameras flashed. His donors, his peers, his sycophants were all witnessing his meticulously constructed world crumble to dust in real time. He stood frozen at the podium, the charming facade completely gone, replaced by the pale, panicked face of a cornered rat. His eyes scanned the crowd, and they found me. I didn't smile. I didn't glare. I simply met his gaze and gave a small, almost imperceptible nod. It was a nod that said, "I know." And now, so does everyone else. The fallout was swift and brutal. The charity was shuttered by the following morning. The DA, armed with the very public evidence, had no choice but to file charges. His assets were frozen. The mistress was gone before the week was out. I didn't stay for the trial. I didn't need to. I had already witnessed his execution. I had taken his masterpiece of a lie and turned it into his public confession. People in town sometimes ask me if I'm angry, and I just give a small, quiet smile. Because anger is a hot, fleeting thing. But the chill of vengeance, that lasts forever. He stole my money and my trust, but he made one crucial error. He taught the librarian how to research a perfect crime, and then I wrote the final chapter myself.